Moon landing? Question mark.
Wait. Like, do I think it was real?
Moon landing?
Okay, you know what? You just opened up a fucking can of worms. Because one time I found myself on Conspiracy Talk about how the moon landing wasn't real.
What do they say about it?
I don't really remember the details because I didn't let this really go too deep into my brain.
You're like, I think I'm going to draw the line here. This is where the line is. Right here.
Yeah.
Moon landing?
Literally that
Nope.
and
Taking
flat
2
Earth.
steps back.
There has to be a line. But there was also one video that I saw on Conspiracy Talk, and it was a video of people in space. I don't know from what year it was from. And they're all like floating around with like zero gravity, and all of a sudden there's like a beach ball that they brought, and someone made a video talking about how like the way that the beach ball was moving in the video isn't actually how it would move if there was zero gravity, and that it was like a hoax, that they weren't actually in space.
Oh, like this is like supposedly a real like archival footage of
Yes.
people like in the International Space Station or some shit.
Yes, yeah. So this just connects to that. There was like a few conspiracies that were like, is the moon landing even real? We're being lied to. But I don't go down that route of learning about space.
Fair. For sure.
And I have just kind of used my common sense to look at like projects like what Milan works for, where they're spending like billions of dollars building spaceships. I'm like, obviously this shit is real.
Seems legit. Yeah,
Just doing it for
sure.
fun. Holding up a hoax over here.
Okay. So
But
this
what direction was that supposed to go in?
that was it. That was perfect. No, okay. This is like, for the record, before anyone like runs to Apple Podcast to give us 1 star for entertaining that the moon landing isn't real, please don't do that. First of all, dumb to give people poor reviews for disagreements. Anyways, I think
That
this
is
a
a trigger for you when it didn't even happen.
I know, because I've seen other people. I've seen that happen to other shows, that people listen and they disagree with something and they like take to Apple reviews to like talk about it. I'm like, this is not like, no, that's not what those are for, to say that you disagree.
The point of this show is to talk about crazy shit. So we're
Yeah,
going to talk
so-
about
yeah.
crazy shit, even though it may not be true.
Okay. This is just, I think what is fun and interesting to introduce here is the like reason why these, sure, some people who entertain the conspiracy of like moon landing isn't real or the earth is flat, some of those people probably are just like very off the walls and like not, let's just say their nervous systems aren't intact. Okay, that's my like nice way of putting it. That's some of the case with some of them. Okay, but on the other side, there is like a form of a line of thinking where I would ask you like a couple questions to essentially start to open up the idea that your belief in this thing is all through secondary and tertiary evidence, meaning you did not firsthand experience this thing to know that it is real. And there's so many things in life that are like that, which is like generally okay. But with the examples of the moon landing and flat earth, for example, as just 2 of them, is the like critical thinking aspect would be to say, in order to believe that this is true, you have to look at evidence that is not first level. Like, you didn't see the moon landing yourself, so you would have to ask another person that like did see it, or go look at footage and then also believe that the footage is real or verify that it's real. And because of that, it is not that crazy to say, what if there's room basically to question it. And I don't think it's that crazy to open up that can to be like, well, are we sure that the footage is real? Are we sure that it happened? And I just think it's basically, I brought it up because first of all, I just thought it was like a funny way to ask it. But second, that I actually think like so many people just assume that anyone who would like entertain that is like crazy and is like a fucking anon, what's the guy, like QAnon or whatever person, or like the extremes of like conspiracy world, when in reality, like, I know perfectly intelligent people who make really good arguments to just present like the questioning of moon landing or like the shape of the earth. And it's just all based on basic critical thinking of like, you know, primary, secondary, and tertiary evidence. And that another thing, like the earth is for yourself. Yes, you have to do like all this research to find out, but most people are just believing it because of other people telling them, which again isn't inherently wrong, but it is like does set up the grounds to question it.
So what would you say about like Milan's career?
Well, well, first of all, I think I haven't really done extensive research about the moon landing. It seems legit. Looks good to me. Like, I don't know. I think that makes sense. I do think it's weird that we haven't gone back in like 60 years or whatever. Like, that is odd to me, or that we haven't been told that we've gone back. I think that's weird. But, and I just think it's weird. Like, I don't know where that leads. I just think it's bizarre. And then for like what SpaceX is doing, and like, yeah, the fact that I'm like very like, you know, in proximity to all this stuff happening, is that they don't necessarily negate each other automatically. Like, one could be, you know, that like NASA and the government was like responsible for this one thing, and for whatever reason, I don't even really know why like they would fake a moon landing. Like, I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole actually. But I think that also certain like, you know, pattern recognitions, aka conspiracy theories, could be true without negating like everything related to it, if that makes sense. Like, it's not always mutually exclusive.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
So
I think the bottom line is like, if you were to talk to any regular person, as we all like are just like believing that the moon landing was real, it's just, the question is, have you seen it yourself? And the answer is always no. So that just leaves room for deeper questioning. And that's what we just have to be comfortable with, is like having that conversation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much on a basic level. But again, it's not to say that just because, like, it doesn't mean that then, you know, for example, I haven't seen the whole fucking universe with my own eyes, and I never will. But there are plenty of things that I wholeheartedly believe to be true about myself and the universe that I live in. And I haven't like firsthand seen all the things. So that it's basically just like to say we should be open to just questioning things, especially things that I think are very taboo to question. But it's not, you know, with an effort of saying like everything is fucking fake, and if you haven't seen it firsthand, then it's not true. Because I also think that's like how like schizophrenia is born, and you're like literally don't believe anything. Like, I don't think that's very healthy. But basically what I'm saying is I'm giving credit to the curiosity in people that are like willing to be like, well, I haven't experienced this firsthand, so I have to do more digging in order for me to like fully believe this, or I have to be willing to say I'm accepting like the secondhand evidence that this is a real thing.
Yeah, it's kind of this goes hand in hand with the unseen that we all believe in.
Yeah.
With like the energetics of the spiritual path.
Exactly. Right. Which is like, again, we're all choosing to like buy into certain belief systems and paradigms, and like that's okay, that's part of life. It's just more like, if we want to be like curious, like, then I don't think we should shame people necessarily for wanting to be curious about certain things that have become socially unacceptable to be curious about. Moon landing? You're like, what the fuck?